Hello and welcome to this new episode of Odoo Unplugged. You know, I usually say I have a bunch of superheroes, magicians, whatever with me. Today, it's different. Today I have Alchemist, the one who turned leads into gold. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Nice introduction. The expectation is very high.
Yes.
So now you can introduce each other.
Ladies first.
My name's Sarah. I'm part of the outbound team at Odoo, and I recruit new partners.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Alejandra. I'm part of the CSTI department, which is basically business development for existing customers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my name is Alexandre, and I'm team leader in direct sales. So in direct sales, we take care of potential customers, so prospects coming directly, mostly via a test they did on the platform, and we try to understand their needs and then convert them, so offer them licenses and also the services linked to that.
Okay, and we will, of course, go back to that in details. You're already teasing the company. such a professional. Look at that.
Salespeople.
That's why he's a seller and I'm not. So
Not yet.
Not yet. Who knows? Who knows? So I know it's a silly question, but hey, you need to start somewhere. What does exactly the sales department do? What is the point of the sales department for anyone not following at the at the bottom of the classroom? What do you do, guys?
A lot of things.
Different things depending on who you ask. Basically, we have the sales department or the sales structure of the companies. We have an indirect line of sales and a direct line of sales.
What is the difference?
I work in the indirect line, and that means that we work with customers that are implementing our solution with partners.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the direct sales departments work with customers directly, and the customers are implemented with our in-house consultants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can, Alexandre, tell a little bit of how direct sales
Mm-hmm. No, that's correct. So in direct sales, we work indirect with our partners, and we have three.
Maybe just to remember everyone what we call a partner, because again, someone a bit external to the Odoo ecosystem might be like partners. What are they talking about? What is a partner?
Well,
I can take that one. So basically, our partners is all of the IT companies that will implement Odoo for the customers. So they provide the services and we provide the licenses. So we basically work hand in hand with them. We need them, but they're part of the ecosystem in the end. So
So it's different companies that will sell Odoo with something more sometimes to their customers. Okay, and so they're not us, but they're working with us.
they're working with us, ideally.
They pay a partner fee every year, and we make sure they meet certain standards for our customer, and it's completely part of our ecosystem. And to give you an idea, 65% of our revenue comes from indirect, so from licenses sold by the partners, and 35-40% comes from direct sales, directly, I would say. Okay, and to come back on the non-partner part, so on the direct part,
Okay.
we have there three different departments. Direct sales, which is my department, where we, as I said before, directly sell to prospect customers. Then after 3 or 9 months, depending on the project, they go to CSTD, Customer Success Team Direct, and they are following the contract and also the customer, the project of the customer, and they are in charge of renewing, upselling, sometimes cross-selling, etc. So that's CSTD. And then the last one is MMC, Mid-Market Corporate, which is, let's say, the big direct sales. So they are taking care of a bigger client. In direct sales, we do 1 to 50 employees. For 50 to 250, it's indirect. And 250 over, so for big customers, we take it back internally.
Yeah, and so we will not give maybe too many details about MMC. We can give a bit more if you want. Because we had another episode talking about that, so go check it out in our history. I think it was like 2 episodes ago, 3. So
Again, it's a teasing. Huh?
It's everything is
Just
planned.
making links.
Okay, so I guess most leads come from direct sales then, or would you say that it comes essentially from partners and then it dispatches into the tree? How does it work? How do you get the leads actually?
Mm-hmm. It's a good question.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm sure a big part of the leads are coming from Odoo directly. So the 90% of the leads are coming from test of Odoo. So that's what we call the inbound strategy. So the leads are coming in, and depending on question, there are few questions, 1, 2, or 3 questions. We then define if it goes to this department or this department. So a question would be, is it for you or for one of your clients? If it's for you, then it comes to direct. If it's for a client, it means they're potentially a partner. So it goes to a partner. That's the idea. And then we have also other ways, other channels, I would say, like they can book an appointment on our calendar, or they have a question, or they contact our live chat. But it's very few, I would say. And we also have another part which is outbound. And maybe Sarah, you can
I can touch base on that one a little bit. So indeed, I think you're entirely right. Most of the leads are coming from inbound strategies. So it could be indeed the website. I think we do a lot of events as well. So we try to make the customer journey really easy for the customer as well, just from the moment they start and they want to explore Odoo as well.
And so typically those cases are like you're on the highway in Belgium, might take some time, and you see some sign for advertising Odoo, and you're like, oh, maybe it could be nice. So you go check the website, and then you contact us, and so that's the kind of leads we're talking about, right? For the inbound, I mean.
Sorry, I missed the last part.
So basically, people are contacting us after hearing about us in the public sphere.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so the other strategy would be?
The other strategy would be to try and reach out to the other people that don't see us so far. So we're in charge of creating a new market for Odoo as well, and especially in charge of the Odoo partners, so IT companies. But we also have another outbound team in direct sales, which is basically in charge of reaching out to those customers, which means it would be a lot of research, understanding what they do, being curious, being a bit of a detective, and then from there we contact them. We try to understand how they currently work, and if there is an opportunity for us to answer another need, basically. So that would be the idea of outbound, basically going into untapped territories and making sure that we raise the brand awareness as well.
We also get leads, and this is why it's very important also to note the importance and the role that the partners play, because we also do get leads from our partners, and that's why we also created an outbound department so that we can recruit more partners, because we know that they help create the ecosystem as well. Sometimes we contact partners, or well, rather you guys contact partners that have experience and that have been on the business for 35 years, and they're partners potentially working with other solutions as well. And they have already a pipeline of customers that for some of them might be interesting to change or might be interesting to integrate with Odoo. So I think that also brings a lot of value. The types of leads that we would receive also from partners, and let's just try to recap for a bit. So basically, partners that have a partnership with us, they can receive leads, they can get their own leads, but they can also receive leads depending of their partnership level and their performance and whatnot. But usually the type of leads that we receive already from partners are companies that they already know, a little bigger, maybe a little more mature, especially if we're working with an experienced partner or a historical partner, compared to the leads that we might get from inbound, which is somebody created a trial database, and we know that they need invoicing or the localization, and they need to work with a partner for this or that, or customizations. And it's a different type of leads that I'd say we receive from partners versus what we can get.
Because partners would have qualified them already, a little bit at least. So I guess, confirm, you need to confirm everything I say. But because indeed, when it first goes through the partner will already do some analysis, will already be like, okay, we can do that, or we cannot do that. And so that's why you should go directly to Odoo, while someone just connecting to the website and trying things, they might not even have any idea that we have this structure with partners and all that. They don't know, but especially at least.
I think here we touch on a very important point. Direct sales is, let's say, the entry doors for a lot of leads. But it doesn't mean that because it's the entry doors, we touch every leads. Sometimes they need specific things, like a local presence. We are not locally, as Odoo Direct, in every country. For instance, in France, you have some partners that are not that are well known, with a very good expertise, and because they are super good historically there and on a specific field, the client will need these partners instead of direct sales. And when we spot that in direct sales, we give them directly to our channel team who is taking care of that for the partners.
That is important because so for those not knowing, I work in R&D, and localizations are one of the things I work on. And this is typically touching something I know about, so I need to say something.
So this is you, actually.
Touchy subject. That was
touchy subject. But indeed, it's very important because maybe, I don't know if it's clear for everyone, so that's why I'm wanting to insist on that, that each country has really its own flavor. They have their way of doing here accounting, but not only accounting, it goes further, doing pretty much everything. And there are something that are just cultural, on which you can educate them and be like, okay, it can be different, and so you can use the standard Odoo as it is without doing anything. There are also a lot of subjects where, well, you need something specific. And so when Odoo gets more mature, while Odoo gets more mature, we tend to add those features in standard for every country as much as possible. But of course, it's not always the case. And sometimes it's things that are really niche as well and that we just don't support, don't fully support. And I think that's where it's very important to have like partners there that can handle those specificities, because without them, we just Odoo is not even legal without them, actually. Sometimes, not always, of course.
Yeah. That's the case. That's the case for Portugal. Absolutely, you need to be certified, and in order for you need to be certified, and to get certification, you need to have certain functionalities and to meet certain legal requirements. So you go to the Autoridade Tributária, which is basically the tax authority there, and you present the software. They do some sort of like an audit. So it's like doing a demo for the tax authorities and making sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work, that everything is in the right place. And then you get the certification, which we don't have yet, but we're working on it. But it really does, it's very important, in partners do help a lot, because otherwise we couldn't penetrate a lot of markets if it weren't for the effort that the partners put into developing the localizations, because of course we can't work in every single market at the same time internally, and if it weren't for them, it would be a little hard to enter a market. Now, that being said, also not having the localization in-house means that smaller customers that would want to work with Odoo would have to also pay for the localization to partners, so it becomes slightly more expensive than.
So it is interesting to eventually integrate it in Odoo for those customers anyway, even with the partners doing the job already.
Even for them, it's interesting, huh?
Sure, because they don't need to maintain it as soon as, as it's in the standard code. And indeed, there is a lot of interactions with the partners in R&D for that. A few years ago, there was a lot of things with Spain, for example. Hi, Pedro. And they helped a lot, and I know they've been. Well, this kind of story has happened in every country. a lot of times, Wolfgang, people like that. So yeah, I'm quoting friends like, "Hello, see you to the experience."
But an important point with Spain, Italy, or Portugal. Now we have the localization for Spain and Italy. You know it, but it doesn't mean that we don't sell on those countries. Why? Because I assume you know, but Odoo is integrated software, so we have all the applications, and accounting is an essential one, very important. But you could also say, we don't use the accounting, and we use another solution, but for inventory, e-commerce, for everything, we use the accounting. The bad thing with that is that you're losing the integration with Odoo. But for big companies, it's a bit harder because they need something integrated. But for smaller company, they might not have the budget for a big software or to pay a different software. And for them, but it's okay to have Odoo, very affordable for everything, and then another software. And as they don't have that much invoices, they retype on it. So,
Sure.
for years, we were used to sold in Italy and in Spain without the full localization.
And eventually we
doing
get
it.
better, we integrate
Exactly.
things, and everything
With the
grows.
know-how of the market. But it goes through selling on those countries even without the accounting localization.
You wanted to say something?
No.
Accidentally started a sentence. Okay.
Just getting agitating.
You just agreed very strongly.
Yes.
with what I was saying. Okay, so just to summarize that, so essentially, it's interesting because we can see that the way the market evolves, actually. So we need to have partners in the country, then we can start selling there. They are doing a lot of the things for the localizations. Eventually, we add more and more features in standard. And so, as you were saying, eventually, we might open an office there, just because then we are able to treat those customers you were talking about that cannot be handled by partners more directly. And so we get better at what we do, and we get more experience on the market eventually with all this process, actually.
I think what you're saying here is super important as well, because even if we have partners in certain markets, and I've been an account manager before, I used to manage specific part of Europe. Even if we have partners in one specific territory, it doesn't mean it's going to evolve at the same pace as what we would want. So indeed, we need to get involved. And in the end of the day, it might be partners, raising the brand awareness that to do as well, but we're never going to have the same marketing budget as what our partners do, because we have 6,000 people in the company, we have a huge marketing team, we have a budget as well. So we cannot expect our partners to do those same efforts in terms of marketing as well. So we need that, direct approach, and we need that presence on the markets, even from far sometimes, but it's still highly needed to grow that market as well. Because at the end of the day, what do we do in sales? We grow the Odoo market.
It's a hand-on-hand work with the partners. As they are locally there, they can help us on a lot of things. Of course, the culture, localization, but also, it's stupid, but where to put the billboards. Sometimes
True.
Yeah.
we think it's a good spot, but they are living there, they know if it's a good spot or not. So we also have employees that were used to live there or that are from there. You are from Ecuador.
Yeah,
I don't know where to put a billboard there.
You never called marketing to say, oh, there's a spot there.
See, that's not the right street.
No, it could be as stupid as that. So it works with them, and the interest for them is huge, as we said before. As soon as we have the localization done, set properly, then it means that they don't need to invest time on it. It will also open way more the market, create a lot of new leads, and maybe one day we will also open an office in these countries, and we will increase the brand awareness, etc. So it's really a win-win way of doing business.
I would also say it's very organic.
Yeah. What you said is very real. I talk on a daily basis with my partners. Fortunately, with 99% of them, I have an amazing relationship. And whenever there's a billboard that is like fading, the color is fading, or it's like too old, or there's something that's not right, they tell us, Alejandra, in this street, there's this very blurred or faded billboard, or you have 10 billboards in 1 kilometer, let's say. So maybe we could, or you could allocate that to put billboards here and there. So we do receive that feedback, and that local knowledge is very important for Odoo. I think that also one very important role of the partner is to give us a better sense of what the market is about.
Sure.
And it's very, very important because we're in Belgium. For some other markets, okay, we've opened, because for Spain and Italy, we've opened offices, and it's easier to get, and you would recruit from Spain. And it's easier to get a vibe of what the market is about, what customers is about, how does tech work, what's the mentality of the customers. And really, the best way to learn it from here, it's through the partners first. And also, as soon as you start treating your market as a specific market, not a general market, that brings value to the partners as well, and that brings value to the customers. So I think that's also a huge advantage of working with partners so closely.
And this is what I like about the Odoo community in general as well. Like, they care. They're going to tell us if something is wrong. They're going to tell us if there is a security issue somewhere, if the party is not happy with the way we work. And it helps us improve what we do on a daily basis as well, which is amazing, because in other business, you wouldn't necessarily have this. You would have a lot of competition. They would keep their secrets to themselves and not share it, which I think is what makes Odoo different in the end.
I think that our founder, Fabien, what he bought over 20 years over an ERP is a real community. We have paid clients, we have free clients, but we also have partners, etc. And the idea is to create an entire ecosystem with a positive community that has a huge impact. And I think that's today something we took time to build, but it's very essential for us, and it's a very big advantage, I think.
And I think it's interesting as well to see how much it took just from the open source community and things that are, well, that have been like that for a lot of projects, but just for the programming side, actually. And here it just touches everything, because indeed having some guy coming someday on your code and being like, you don't know that guy. He first time, and he's like, what the hell is this? Or suggesting to change something. It's normal in the open source world. It's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
And that's essentially what you were saying with the billboards and so on. It's exactly the same kind of things, actually. The same kind of interactions.
It's a real way of speed up our sales today.
And deliver quality also.
Being more accurate, actually.
Yeah.
We are reaching halftime, so break soon, but not directly, because we had a question in the chat that it might be the right time to ask. At least I decide it's the right time.
Let's go.
How do you become a partner? So we touched it a little bit, but maybe it's time to just explain a little more.
How do we become a partner? So it would depend what you want to do and how you want to start it. As we discussed before, it's part of our DNA to make it open to just anyone. So we want people to be able to include and involve in the ecosystem as well. So you could decide to do it the DIY way. So you become a learning partner for Odoo, you get access to the source code, you start building your business and everything. And then the moment you're ready to go to the next step, here's where we talk about the official partnership. Official partnership, you have Sync API. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. You have an account manager, and you really have even the consultants to help you out to really go to the next step. Let's say learning partner, you're here, you're touching waters. Official partnership, you're there, you want to build a specific business around Odoo as well. And we're here to help you. So how do you become an official partner? You would have to make sure that you want to go into that business as well. So meaning you want to find a customer, you want to get trained, you want to get the Odoo certification as well. And you want to collaborate with us to make that happen as well. So I would say the most important part on how to become a partner is basically the motivation that you have, how you make it happen, what are the resources, do you have consultants, do you have experts, do you have developers, and how can we support you? And then from there, if you really want to have a chat about it, just reach out and we'll build a plan.
maybe too, because as we talked about the structure for direct sales, maybe too also for everybody who doesn't know, to explain how indirect sales.
Mhm.
We have partnership recruitment, which is where SETA works outbound, but partnership recruitment is the first step, let's say, for indirect sales. Then we have partner management. So partner account managers dedicated for the partners that partners recruited work, and then account managers, which is what I do, the CSTI team, which is the customer success team for indirect. And what we do is we work with the customers, but we are in contact with the partners as well. So what we have is a three-party relationship. So there's the services contract between a customer and a partner, the partnership contract between Odoo and the partner, and the licenses contract between Odoo and the customer. And we are in constant communication between the three parties. There's a lot of transparency, a lot of collaboration, and what's interesting and what's very useful about partner managers and account managers for the partner is that when you become an official partner, you get assigned a partner manager. They're going to basically manage your journey as a partner, your knowledge, whether you need training or not, your strategy, maybe if you feel like you're a company that needs help with your strategy, whether it's marketing or implementation strategy. And then they'll also have an appointed account manager, me, which is basically somebody who will help them follow up the customer, will give feedback, will advise if necessary, will share strategies and action plans on how to continue the life of that customer within our pipeline. I don't sign the first contract. Partner managers do. While after they sign the first contract, the contract comes to me and I follow up. So it's more than a sales role, but rather a project manager plus sales role, because you have to follow up on how the project is going, how the relationship with partners is going, identifying any opportunities, whether it's licenses or users for us or not. Maybe it's an opportunity to implement a new module for the same amount of users, but it's an opportunity for the partner. So we just really focus on the customer. What do you need? What will you potentially need in the future? Let's follow up and let's just have a long-term relationship in collaboration, basically. You want to say something?
No, but that's the idea. As an editor, we are always responsible, and we take this responsibility. Some other editors says, we sell, we never implement, and we give everything to partners.
I don't know how unique it is, but clearly, purely on paper, if you tell me there are sellers and there are seller companies and there's an editor company, I don't think the editor always is as involved as that in how the seller companies are doing and just helping them getting there, actually.
And it's part of the DNA of Odoo. Before I said we are completely integrated as a software, but also as a company. The job of a direct sales is to take part of every single part of the sales process. We do the prospection, we do the qualification, we prepare the demonstration alone, we deliver the demonstration, we give the contract, we negotiate, we close the deal, and then we follow up on the deal between 3 to 9 months. So it's insane. The same sales is doing all the job, and then we give it to CSTD, Customer Success Team Direct. So we are super integrated and super transparent. The company, the licenses, the way we do, that's part of the DNA.
I think something is important as well about being an even Odoo sales girl is, you're not just a salesman, you become the trusted advisor for the customer, for the partner, even for people outside of the Odoo ecosystem. You're there to really build that trust, be transparent, explain how it works as well. And this is how we can actually build those long-term relationships with our customers, but also our partners, because we've had partners in the ecosystem for a very long time as well, which is amazing when you think about it. You don't really have to, rebuild that relationship every day. And yes, the partner ecosystem is growing a lot, but actually partners are staying. So I think there must be something great.
Yeah. And I think that will be the final word for this first part of the episode. But don't leave, because in 5 minutes we are back with the second part. It's just a small break, just the time to go to the bathroom and take some coffee. See you then.
See you.
And we are back for the second part of the episode. So we were talking a bit about indirect sales, how it was going with the partners. Maybe it's interesting to just start with this, actually. We touched it a little bit as well, but does it work like that for every company? Because I guess we're not the only ones using partners or this kind of network. You had a lot of things to say about that, I remember. But what would be like the big things you would say are different? Why, and is it better?
That's a very good question. I wouldn't put any words on is it better or any better. It's just different. Let's put it like that. So indeed, if you want to implement another technology, sometimes you would have to take different people around the table. So you would have the counselor, you would have the advisor, you would have the people advising on the licenses, how many licenses, what type of licenses you need. You would have the people then providing the services, and then sometimes you would have someone different implementing and doing the maintenance and the support as well. And then you would need to have someone for the hosting, which is completely different from the way we work as well. If we do it directly, then Odoo does everything, and we manage the whole advisory side of things, but also the whole implementation, the whole maintenance, and the whole support. So you basically have someone holding your hands for your whole project.
And
Just
even
one
in
guy.
the company, so it stays Odoo, but the contact person stays the same, so.
So
Ideally.
ideally, yeah, and it would evolve as well, because basically the person that will do the first steps in your customer journey would probably be different from the one holding your hands in the long term, just because it's a different set of skills, and it's just you only have 8 hours in a day, so you cannot do it all. Now, what we do with partners is basically the same. We expect our partners to do the whole journey as well with the customers, because in the end, we're building this for the long term. We want them to get involved in the long term as well. There is a retention rate for partners as well, and we want them to really support the customer, to provide the maintenance, to provide the hosting when it's necessary, or if they don't want to host it with Odoo, which is a spare choice. And I think this is what makes us different from other platforms as well. I'm not saying every single platform out there. It's just that we try to simplify things. We make it easy to understand. We make it easy to not involve 1,000 people in an email just to have one answer. If you want an answer on Odoo, you either go to the website and you have it with the live support, or you go to your Odoo point of contact and you have it like the next day, the next week probably, which makes it very fast for us to implement an Odoo project, whether with a partner or directly. I think it's a bit faster directly than with a partner, just because there are some complexities. But you don't have to wait 2 months to get a quote. You don't need to wait another month to get the demo. And then it's crystal clear from the very beginning. And you don't have any surprises afterwards, because it's the same point of contact. And as a customer, if you go to Odoo or if you go to a partner, you pay the same price for the licenses. And it's on the website. So that makes us a bit different, I would say. Again, different.
And it's not just about being fast. It's also, as Sarah said, we rationalize everything. And this is why we can offer such a good product at a so low price. Because we rationalize everything, we can make something very affordable. As she said, if you don't have 10 different people involved in a process and you have only one, it means you don't need to pay all those 9 other person, and that's the reason why we can offer it at that price. It's not something cheap. It's a low price because we rationalize everything.
Isn't it sometimes a bit unsettling, I would say, for customers, because, well, they come from other companies that don't work like that, and they're like, is it normal? I mean, it must feel a bit weird the first time you encounter this other way of working, because if you expect something to be that complex and take so much time, how do you, well, discuss with those people and reassure them? I guess it's part of your job, right? Otherwise, you don't sell. So how does it work?
You mean for the partners or for the customers?
For the customers themselves,
Okay.
really. Yeah, maybe for the
Very
partners
good.
as well, actually. But let's start with the customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go on the customer's part. So it depends, and it also depends on the country. In Europe, we have the Europe high price, which is the normal standard price list, around 20-25 euros, starting there for a license per month. And then we have other price lists for other countries, like in Spain, Italy, Portugal, etc. We have Europe low, which is around 40% less. So it really depends on the countries. But the idea behind it stays super affordable, and it depends who is the final client. If you're alone, you just launch your company, and you have no revenue, 20 euros, it's not expensive, but it's already a budget for you, as you have no income, let's say. So for them, they're very happy, and it's already money, let's say. Then you have other customers, between 5, 10, I don't know, and for them, but it's super affordable, but they were on Excel, only on Excel, spending a lot of time, but time for them was not money at that moment, I would say. And they go from Excel licenses to a real ERP, and it stays affordable, but it's more money than just Excel. But on the other hand, when they do the ROI, return on investment, they see that it's super cheap. And then you have bigger company, 20, 30, 40, 50, and for them, they multiply it by 50 our licenses, and then it's a real budget, lower than others, but it starts to be a real budget, and it's more, let's say, common to other ERPs. Now it depends on the functionalities. We have way more, so it's always a matter of do I need this or not? You don't need to buy features you don't use. That's for, let's say.
But maybe purely on the human side, on the social side, people come to us, whatever, through a partner or not, and they realize that they were expecting to have like X persons around the table, as you were saying, and actually there are two of them. Isn't it sometimes a bit difficult to build the trust at the beginning, really, of the commercial relationship with them because of that? And how do you cope with that?
For me, I would say yes.
For me, I would say no.
Okay, debate.
It's just so different. There's so many factors. So of course the type of company, the size of the company. Is it a bakery? Is it a technological solutions company that has implemented 2 or potentially 3 ERPs in the past? So our role is, of course, to reassure the customer, to educate the customer, customers that need, more support. But it really does depend, because for smaller companies that are coming from Excel, they're actually, they don't really know. So they actually, I'd say there's a little bit of resistance, but at the same time, it's easier because thank God you're there to help them out and to explain this to them. And if we do, and we try to do, I guess, we all try to do a good job as an account manager, you're there exactly for that. Let me walk you through the step-by-step. Let me walk you through how the market works, through the implications. Let me just put everything step-by-step out there for you to understand. And at the beginning, it's very difficult, but they're very grateful for it, because I've had cases like this. Then, on the other hand, you have companies that have done SAP implementations maybe, or Salesforce implementations before, and it's an implementation that has taken around 2 years. So they know the gist, but they are used precisely to this huge ecosystem of different people. Now, I guess with direct and indirect sales is different. For indirect sales, they're used to have, the editor from our side, somebody who should be on top of everything, just informed. I might not be developing for the client, but I am informed of what's going on, if there are developments, if there are not developments, when to upgrade, why not to upgrade, when's the right time, what are the customer's difficulties, is this time of the year a good time, is it not, do you have seasonality? The fact that they have one person who is aware of everything is already a plus, but for us to create the relationship and for them to see that value of having one person who is on top of everything, it takes time. It will not happen over let's say a fortnight. It will potentially mean that you have gone through the struggles with them for some months now, you've had several exchanges.
So
And when they start to see that, then they're okay with it. But also they have the partners. Before you ask your question, also they have
Go
the
ahead.
partners, so they also have potentially within the partner several contacts. So it's not too different from what they know, because this type of companies tend to work with partners because of the level of customization or integrations that they need. So on that side, they would also have, let's say, an account manager potentially for some, but they also would have a consultant appointed to them, and potentially another point of contact. So it's not as different.
Okay.
Indirect sales, I don't know how it works, but I guess you it's one person who does everything.
Yes, mostly. And this is super specific, because if you're alone, it means that what you deliver must be top notch. You have no
You cannot
second
blame
chance.
it
Exactly.
on anyone.
And you have no second chance.
Yeah.
So of course, if you miss the first contact, or if even during the entire process you miss something, but you're not blacklisted, but it will be hard for the rest. So that's something hard. No, what we do on big project or on harder project, I would say, on the sales part, most of the time I go with one of my team member. He invites me on the demonstration, sometimes on the qualification, and I do the process with them. That way we ensure that what we deliver is top notch. And also for them, when they decide on an ERP, if it's a 20, 30 users company, it's not only one guy that is deciding. You have, of course, the financial guy, operational guy, maybe also the CEO of the company. So in a call, when you have 5, 6, 7 people in front of you, it's also better to be more than only one. Now, what we always try to do is to keep a single point of contact for sales. So it means that I'm in a copy of the emails, but I won't sometimes answer, sometimes not, sometimes the guy of my team, etc. It will be always the guy of my team. Of course, we can write it together, but that's the idea. Same for the implementation. We work with a single point of contact. So we ask on the customer side to have only one point of contact. It doesn't mean that someone else for accounting or cannot join, but it means that the responsibility is not diluted. The information is still accurate and there.
Yeah, so to put it in other words, there is one person who's responsible of handling the thing,
Exactly.
but that person can bring other persons if there is some specific question on accounting. Whatever,
Exactly.
And very
And we
precise
do the
topics.
same for the implementation. So on an implementation, we have one consultant, but this consultant goes to a team leader sometimes, to an expert, to a developers, etc. But our client has no real contact with the developers, etc. No, we keep everything with one Spock on each side of the.
It's important to say that there's a full ecosystem behind them. But even your contact is with one person, and from our side, in that case, it's also important to let the customers know that we are in contact with the partners and that we're following up also with them, so that they know that the communication is streamlined and that potentially the information is not being lost. You'll find everything, of course, but yeah.
No, I think you have a very valid point here as well, because at the end of the day, what we want to do is collaborate with our partners. We want to be on the same team, and we want them to be on our team as well. So coming from account management, I remember the best support I could provide to the customer were the ones that were working with the partner which I was close with, because in the end I knew about everything. I knew about the struggle, about recruiting, how would it go in terms of, okay, on this project maybe I don't have the resources, but in the end we might find a solution. And having that relationship both with the customer and with the partner helps us also identify and advise at the end of the day, because we know we have a whole team that can support them. But if they don't put their issues into the spotlight, or if we cannot touch on those issues, then there is no way we can help them.
Sure.
And it's about having those conversations, even if it's a tricky one sometimes.
So for all potential partners out there and in companies that are hearing, just work with us. because it's a reality. The partners that we have the better relationship with are the partners that we end up with the best projects and the most robust, best implementations. Like when communication is fluid, the results are better. Like I can tell you 100% that has been the case for me, at least after years of experience.
Maybe it's the right time then to address some tricky question, because hearing all that, some people, some potential partners, why not? Maybe the guy who asked the question earlier in the chat, listen this one, might just be like, okay, but on long term, what happens? Because I'm gonna work with Odoo. I'm gonna have my customers. All that, sure. Odoo will continue growing. Hopefully, that's the goal. Huh? They will adapt to my country better, Portugal. We will support everything perfectly in a few years, no doubt. But then, isn't there a risk that they just steal my customers and that I just have to close, because basically Odoo is doing everything I was doing before, and so there is no added value in having me. And so isn't the goal, to put it in a very aggressive way, isn't the goal of Odoo at the end of the day to just eventually destroy the partners and just take everything for itself? I mean, it's a pretty understandable fear, right? So how does the business model of this whole thing work? How does it balance into something that is I would say, not toxic for the people involved?
Alexandre.
Yeah, I can start, but first, and I am on the direct part, and I said it from the beginning, it's really part of our ecosystem. Even historically, it starts with the partners, and it's still very, very important for us. No, we don't do exactly the same services, I would say. Our business model is really based, as an editor, is based on the licenses. We provide the licenses, and of course, we also provide services, but we do it only for the licenses. Why? Because if we don't implement the solution, the recurrency of the subscription will stop. Okay, so we do it only for the subscription. This is not the business model at all of the partners. The partners, they have between 10 to 20% of the licenses. So it means that they need to do services in order to have money at the end of the month.
Sure.
So their business model is the services. And that's the reason why they go way further than us. First, they go locally, they go on site on every country. They do what we call integration. Most of the time we don't do integration because we already have an integrated software.
And can you maybe explain, just
Yeah.
for people not having this in mind, what an integration is, very briefly?
So the idea of Odoo is fully integrated. We have all the application in one, and we spend time on developing those integration in-house. Sometimes you have a third accounting software and you're super close from your accountant and you don't want to change for Odoo accounting. You want to stay on your own Olivier's accounting. Then you need an integration between those two. But it can be with an e-commerce like, I don't know, Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever. And for that, we say, okay, go to a partner and he will connect a third-party application to Odoo. And they also go further on services. We do mostly the implementation, developments, etc. But for instance, we don't really do change management. We don't manage also all the hardware. Sometimes we want an entire solution with the hardware provider, etc. We don't do it. So for that, on a high level of services, not a top notch because our services are top notch one, but on a high hand one, you go for the partners, and it means that it's very clear on when it's for us and when it's a partner. Sometimes, of course, a partner could take a direct project, and for that we have a small area where we have where we can discuss if it goes to a partner or to Odoo, and they both have the chance to win the project. But most of them, it's very clear when it's for a partner or for Odoo Direct.
And in my opinion, sorry, I'll just take that.
Go
In my opinion, if you're an Odoo partner and you ask yourself whether you're competing with Odoo or not, I think you're just missing the point. Because your point as an Odoo partner is, where do I bring value? I think you had a very valid point there. Odoo is a software, and it's just a software. It's not the whole change and the whole transformation in a company as well. And not every single business is prepared to work the Odoo way, with the Odoo methodology, with being challenged and not necessarily being able to review all of the internal processes as well. And this is where our partners can actually make a difference as well, because indeed you need to train people, but you need to help people understand that resistance is not always the solution, and that they need to adapt as well. And I think as a partner, this is where you bring value, and this is where most of our partners have the expertise as well. We're working with big consulting groups at this point. They became a partners for this very valid reason, is how do I help them work better? Not necessarily only about the platform or the software, but how do I help people work better? So yeah, cut you out there.
I'd say you have nothing to be afraid about. That's it. And if you ask historical partners out there, they'll tell you the same thing. I think they've already shared a lot of what partners support in the scope of support and services of Odoo. Partners work with companies that require verticalization. We don't do in-house verticalization, but if you work in a specific industry, if your activities are in a specific industry and you have very specific needs, you need to work with a partner. They will develop and develop this verticalization for you. For the local presence and the localization, the physical localization, is not just invoicing and accounting. It's invoicing, it's accounting, sometimes it's POS, and it's payroll too. And because of our culture and what you just said, sometimes, specifically for the localization, sometimes things are just a little too niche or a little too specific to one industry, and we wouldn't do it. So even if we have our own localization, we know for sure that most of the customers will still need the partners to just add that extra layer to fully, meet their needs.
I'm going to add a technical argument to this because definitely you're right. People have to keep in mind that Odoo is not just a product, it's also a technical framework. And the reason why it's possible to have this integration, as you were explaining, and everything communicating with everything, is because of the technical framework. It's because it's made like this. The problem is, when you do a product like that, you need to make it for everyone. And so, indeed, if there are very niche cases, and those cases definitely exist, I can tell you, where some people, some industries want things that are the exact opposite of what the others want, you will not do that. Not today, not in 100 years, because it needs to be the standard product. And we could add settings everywhere, options everywhere, checkboxes, and enable this, that, X mode, Y mode. But that would just make it totally messy for everyone. And that is also something that would eventually ruin the product. Just imagine you open the settings from Odoo today on some Runbot, whatever. It is already quite complex because it's an ERP. Yeah, there's a limit to how simple you can make things. But just imagine that, but 10 times or 100 times more. It's too much, and we don't want that in the product, and we will not want that ever. And indeed, for those cases, the only solution is to have some additional code that you can bring to customize the software, and that's something the partners will do and will always do.
It's so true. I'm sorry, it's so true because I've had that exact case in which I've had a customer saying, but this is very basic. Like, this is how it should work. On the same industry, another customer says, like, I should not work this way. It should work this way. And it's completely contradictory. So it's also our job as an account managers to really explain the reality or of what we've perceived, and tell them, listen, you're telling me this is the very basic, or this is the way it should be done. And I have another customer telling me this, which is precisely why we cannot develop the things specifically you know, and this is why we need to deliver a product that is that is like general enough or generalistic enough so that you can develop on top of that, because that's our value proposition. It's a scalable platform, it's open source, so that you can do with it whatever you need to do with it.
And this is also why partner don't compete in the end, because this is where they have their value. This is where they get the business. If Odoo was fully like you would have all of the features out there, what would the partner do? They would not develop. They would not.
Maybe to close totally the debate, we are around 5,000 employees. The indirect sides, partner or not, but people that are doing Odoo. It's like 176,000, something like that. So it's huge. That closed the debate. Odoo Direct. In terms of sales, we have maybe 1,000 sales in total in Odoo. The idea of the sales, direct sales of Odoo is just to maintain a certain level of quality and of pricing for the entire ecosystem. That's the big idea also of direct sales, and being able also to address customers that won't go to partners for X, Y reasons.
Okay, maybe one last thing on to go back on the way we work with partners, because with everything we said, so you mentioned that there were KPIs that the partners, so basically they have targets that they need to meet to and then
As we do.
You know, the stars on the shirt, and be like the top partners, and of course it has an impact because I guess we have a page listing all the partners, and the higher your rank, the higher you are in the list, right? Essentially. How important is that for the partners themselves? Is it like really crucial to become like the maximum level, gold, whatever, someday, or is it something that at some point you might need to take some distance with because you have a business model that does not especially fit the way those KPIs are made? And what is our take on that?
He's asking good questions.
Yes.
Actually, spoiler, we prepared this episode, and she said very interesting things about that. So I'm just starting the subject. Go ahead.
So there are different tops in this very question. The first one would be, if you want to reach the top, I think instead it's an ego thing. So you could be the best partner out there, but you could be losing customers because you cannot maintain them or support them in the long term, which means you're not the best partner in the end, you know. I think if you want to be the greatest partner out there, you need to focus on delivery, making sure that what you do it consistently, and you can make sure that your customers are staying with you, basically. In terms of KPI, the way we build those KPI is not to say to the partners, you need to have this and this and this. No, the point is, we want to help them grow, and we cannot expect a ready partner to have the same team, the same resources, or the same budget as a goal partner as well. So we help them grow to the goal partner status by setting those KPIs, basically, because as a ready partner, you would have to, work on smaller size projects, companies with, I would say, 10 to 15 employees. You would have 1 or 2 projects per year, and then you would probably have 1 or 2 consultants in the team. And that's usually how it goes when you start the partnership at Odoo. You're not going to train like 50 people on the software if you don't even know whether it's going to work or not, you know. And the more you grow as a partner, then the more we support you as well. So we encourage you to grow the team. We encourage you to take more certification. And we encourage you to tackle bigger projects as well, because you've had the skills and you've proven to the Odoo partner that you have, Odoo partner manager that you have, that you can tackle those projects. Because at the end of the day, if you start as an Odoo partner and you have like a company of, let's say, 300 employees and you never implemented Odoo before, probably you have the best expertise out there and you can make it happen, but you still don't have the knowledge on the software. And I think that's a crucial part of becoming an Odoo partner as well, and building that strategy as well. So hence why we mentioned it before, work with us to make it happen, I would say. So indeed, and we've had partners before where they don't necessarily agree with the way we set those KPIs and why we changed it as well. And I do understand to a certain extent as well. And they just decided to, okay, let's say we're not going to be a gold partner anymore. What's the impact? And at the end of the day, if you're good at your job and if you raise awareness and if you reach out to those customers and you do the delivery properly, it doesn't really matter whether you're a gold partner or a silver partner, because they're going to consolidate at the end of the day anyways. It's just that if you want to really build a solid practice on Odoo, I think you don't need necessarily to focus on the KPI, and the partner manager are going to be super upset with me by saying that. But I really think it's the way forward. You need to build something that's solid, something that's valuable in the long term as well. And if you go for the bigger projects, you're going to probably do a hit and run, because you're going to end up with a project and operations that you cannot manage afterwards, and you're going to be stuck in that project. And you're going to be probably gold 1 year, and then the year after not gold anymore, because you didn't manage to have another project of that size, So different elements.
I agree. I agree with Sarah. I think that first of all, I think that the company should strategize towards what makes them potentially earn money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should be their strategy. Not being a gold partner, being the first partner on the list going to make you the partner that makes the most money? I've had partners that they tell me, we don't want to be a gold partner. We would want to be the best of the silver partners. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm.
There are partners that are like, I don't mind not being the first gold partner, because we are actually earning a lot of money from existing projects and from upselling, cross-selling, new projects, new implementation, and that's working very well for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a smart choice. I think that KPIs are and should be really a motivation for the partners, of course, to maintain a level of quality in their services and ability and agility. I think that's what our KPIs are there for. I think that each company has a different methodology. I mean, new partners don't work the same way as historical partners, or big partners, whether new or historical, don't work the same way as smaller partners. If you cannot pretend to have the same strategy if you have a team of 4 people compared to companies that have 80 people working solely for Odoo. So I'd say that yes, for some companies it might be it might be the goal to be, and it might determine their strategy. It is the KPIs that determine their strategy. But for some other more established or more, let's say, historical
Mature.
partners or mature, thank you, that was the word, mature partners, they use what we have as KPIs and they just implement however they want it within their own strategy.
So that's interesting, because that also means we don't at all put a pressure on them, like you need to become a gold partner, otherwise whatever. It's just you choose where you want to go, and essentially it's, as you were saying, it's for them as well. It's just KPIs. It's just a means of having some referencement on the website. And if their business is working like super well and they're making tons of money as a silver partner, well, they can choose to stay on.
At the end, imagine you have a flu, okay? But you can go to the hospital to a big professor, etc. But you can also go to your generalist, okay? If you have a project, except if it's a very, very specific one, you don't. It's not mandatory to go to a gold partner. Sometimes you have silver or other partners that are also very good. Why we classify also the partners? We have a responsibility with our partners, and she mentioned it, but we also have a responsibility with our prospect and customers. So we need to say to our customers, okay, if he's gold, it means this. If he's silver, it means this. And if he's not silver or gold, it means this. And that's the idea. And also something super important, sometimes when we have directly a prospect and we see it's not a fit for direct, what I do is I don't tell them, go to a gold. No, I go to their floor and I tell them, okay, I have a project, the guy is there, that's the idea, we need someone that has already, a partner that has already done a project in this field. And then, I have someone, this one might be also a good fit, and someone it's a silver. But this silver will be way better, or sometimes it's a non-gold, non-silver. But this guy has an expertise
Yeah,
there.
because it's totally possible that the business of that customer is just a super niche,
Yeah.
And that there is just like one partner, but a very small one, but one partner who's taking all those projects, and that's super good with them. And so why not? Yeah.
And I think something we changed recently was the partner page on that one. We just launched a new feature on the partner page that's basically a best match. So it's a bit like Tinder, you fill in the form and it basically tells you this might be a good match for you. And this is why it's really important, and I just drive back to what you were saying, because at the end of the day, if you have a little shop and you're, I don't know, a bakery might not be the best example, but let's go with that one, and you happen to also produce juices, maybe there's a partner out there that has the exact same project and that really knows what are going to be the struggle and how it's going to go as well. And maybe if you're talking to a gold partner, they don't have that knowledge. So this is why it's important to also adapt and to talk to Odoo again to make sure that you're with the best fit as well. When I was an account manager, sometimes I would get projects and I could sell. Maybe it wouldn't be the right fit for that partner, not necessarily on the project side of things, but maybe on the relationship as well, because at the end
I
of the
guess
day,
that's also important, and people have their way of working, and sometimes
very important.
well, I mean, I have no idea, but I guess sometimes, you know, some companies, just the people that are managing the project, need this or that kind of structure to discuss with, because that's just what they want and what they, you know, the interaction needs to work at the end of the day. So.
And in some markets, reputation is everything. Gold, silver, 200 references, 3, it doesn't matter. All that matters is your reputation. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're doing your best to try and deliver the best quality services out there. Because you can be gold and top 1 in your country. If your reputation is not good, you will eventually not have that same return on investment. Some partners would prefer, for instance, to sell less projects, so they will probably have less users and have less references, but their implementation quality is it's crisp, it's super good. The implementations are a success because they take a longer time, probably they tackle bigger customers. They take more time to implement those customers, so and this works for them. And when the word gets out, you will have other companies be wanting to work with a company, with that specific partner.
I mentioned before that it goes to partners when it's between 50 to 250 employees. But that's the leads by default, the inbound leads by default we received are going to them. But it doesn't mean that they don't do a smaller project. We have 5 users, 20 users project also. So sometimes it's a few employees project, but the complexity is super huge.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that answers the question really well. And sadly, we don't have time for more questions.
All right, well, on to the next episode then.
We could do part 2, right? So
Bring
thank
us back.
you for all your answers. We touched a lot of very touchy subjects, but I think you did great. Good job.
Thanks for the invitation, by the way.
Oh, my
Thank you
pleasure,
for having
really.
us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, of course, to the audience. By the way, there is someone who asked in the chat what were the different steps of the customer's demonstration and how it worked to actually deploy Odoo. We made an episode on that already. Go check it out with business analysts. Something exploded in the building. Hopefully we're safe. So thank you for joining and see you in the next episode. Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye.